Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to you here on a beautiful day in Tampa Bay for a Game 4 as the Lightning look to crawl back into this series. Well, they've already done that. Now it's time to even things up and get this series really cooking as they will drop the puck at 8 o'clock tonight. I will be there. You will be there. Many Bolts fans will be there yelling and screaming. Hopefully not a lot of Rangers fans. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show this morning. We are brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Nick Geddes from Outkick.com will be joining me here momentarily as we roll through the day here today. We got a great show for you once again. So much going on in Tampa Bay. We got Bucs OTAs, which we will get to here in a little bit. It is it's hot out there. It'll be fun for some of those young guys, but just to see Brady out there and his creamsicle 12 along with the other quarterbacks is kind of cool. No Gronkowski, obviously, but he'll be along. Nobody really is concerned about that. We'll get some post practice stuff from some of the guys out there. And also joining us at 11:15 will be TJ Rives. We'll talk some Buccaneers minicamp, and also Dave Randorf, voice of the Lightning, will join us at 11:30 after the Lightning do their pressers this morning at 10:30. So we'll get a fresh look at what's going on with the Lightning after their morning skate, and we'll hear from Coach John Cooper, Alex Killorn. We'll also did some media yesterday, and Corey Perry. So we'll hear from all those guys as we roll through the show here today. We do it every day, 2 hours, Tampa Bay-centric stuff right here for you, and we bring it all to you each and every day. Hope you're watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, or you can also watch us on Twitter as well. A lot of you folks watching us on Twitter. I'm producing the show today, so we'll have some fun with that as well. All right, as we get right into it, the Bucs OTAs, Bruce Arians is out there in his cards, according to our good friend Greg Auman, who was looking at some of his tweets this morning. Obviously, all the rookies are out there. They'll get a good look. Kyle Trask is expected to get some reps in this mini camp. Obviously, Brady is there, so he'll get his reps as well. I'm not sure if Russell Gage is working. I know he's been nicked up a little bit, so I'm not sure if he's going to be out there working with Brady. But we'll find out after today's OTAs. It's the usual stuff, but the fact that there has been a ton of veterans at the non-mandatory. This one is mandatory, obviously, but there have been so many veterans that were at the mandatory minicamp. It's been one of the most well-attended mini camps, and it just, even Brady's been there a few times. So it just kind of goes to show you that, the veteran leadership from this team is, actually, I'm reading on Greg Auman's Twitter here that Russell Gage is here at minicamp, but still not practicing. Todd Bowles has characterized it as a soreness when OTA started, but none of this is a big deal. Obviously, you don't want anybody getting out there and doing anything to endanger themselves in OTAs in June. So, but good to see Bruce Arians out there as well. Be interesting to see how he interacts with the players and the offense and exactly what his role is going to be. Greg Auman also reporting that Bucs corner Rashard Robinson not practicing, nor is Grant Stewart, and a couple other guys that are practice squad guys. So away we go. Akeem Hicks is out there wearing number 96, as he did with the Bears, according to Greg. So away we go, and we'll keep you posted on any updates going on over at Bucs OTA. All right, as I mentioned, it is Game 4 tonight at Amalie Arena. The Lightning now down 2-1 in the series. Going back to Game 3, we talked a lot about this yesterday. What was different for the Lightning? Well, there was a lot different for the Lightning. First of all, they went 12-6 for the first time. We'll hear John Cooper explain that here in just a little bit. And also, I just thought that they really, really found their legs in Game 3. This is, something I think when you go back and look at historically in the playoffs, when teams go to 7 games, they tend to continue their momentum into the next series, especially when you have a team that has swept the series before. We told you about that stat. The teams are 7-0 when you're coming off of Game 7, and another team has had more a 7 days rest or more. I mean, that's an incredible stat, and it really speaks to, I think, more to the game of hockey and playoff hockey, is how intense it is, and how, the difference between connecting on a pass and not connecting on a pass is millimeters or inches. And when you lose that fine skill in those 9 days, you lose just a smidgen of it. And what happens is lots of giveaways. You can't connect passes. It looks like sloppy play. And it comes down to a lot of special teams and goaltending. And that's, I think, why the Rangers won the first couple of games. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. The national media would make you believe that those first two games were complete whitewashes by the Rangers, but the analytics will tell you differently. Your eyes should tell you differently, that this is just a lot about a great goalie in Shesterkin. Not only a great goalie, but a hell of an actor. That ain't an actor. He's a good one. Actually, he's a very bad actor. And the flopping is incredible. I think that will be a storyline in this game as well. The officials are getting worked. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they study film as well. They study tape, and they'll look at some of the calls that were made. They'll look at the embellishment from Shesterkin. Evidently, Gerard Gallant was going to speak to the supervisor of officials because he felt like the Lightning were getting in the crease and contacting Shesterkin too much. I believe if every time you touch him, he flops backwards. So if he was really getting beat up, then he would have been on the ice the entire time. I mean, they're looking at this stuff, and they're looking a little bit closer. And I would be surprised if there's another goaltender interference, that there may be an embellishment call that comes along with it. So, be careful what you say in trying to set up the officials sometimes, like Gerard Gallant was clearly doing. Because they can look at it both ways, and I'll be very interested to see how they call the game tonight. And the bottom line is, it's very important how they call the game, because the first 4 goals were power play goals. Special teams were absolutely vastly more important than probably they should be in the playoffs, because these two goalies are so good at 5-on-5 goals are going to be very hard to come by. And when you get the opportunity to score on the power play, and the Rangers power play has been clicking at a 30% rate in these playoffs, I mean, just ridiculous. That's going to turn the game. And the Lightning have got to stay out of the box. Kucherov took some what I thought were careless penalties, especially that double minor, which probably should have been a single minor. There was not Zibanejad was not bleeding that bad. And a little dab, I saw the trainer come over and like dab his lip a little bit, and there was hardly any blood on the towel. I'm like, okay. But it is what it is. But it's going to be important tonight. I mean, the officials are going to play a very important role in this game. So we'll watch that as well. Here's an interesting stat I found as well. The Lightning have won these 2 cups, not as the top seed. And of course, when you're in the bubble, home ice, et cetera, but over this run that they've won the last 5 game 4s in this situation when they're down 2-1. The last 5 times, going back to the 2015 Eastern Conference Finals against Chicago, they've won in this situation where they were down 2-1. They're 4-0 under Cooper. And they've won 5 straight at home. So a lot of trends in this are certainly pointing towards the Lightning getting better. And when you look at the third period, how the Lightning, there was 19-6 in shots, 19-6, 19-5. It was not only the fact that the Lightning were pushing, and this was mostly after they tied the game. So it's not like the Rangers were just holding on for dear life to protect a 1-goal lead for the entire third period. The Lightning scored early in the third period. So this was a tied game, and the Lightning tilted that ice so dramatically in shots. They were constantly putting pressure on Shesterkin, and that's how you got to beat them. It's that constant, sustained pressure. And, as we talked with Brian Bradley yesterday, it's hard sometimes when you're getting stoned time and time again. I mean, 51 shots to get 3 goals. For time and time again, you're getting stoned, and you keep coming. And that's what you have to do to get this done. And that's exactly what the Lightning did. And it took them till 41 seconds left in the period to actually get that goal. So, that was a dominant period for the Lightning. And as Brian said at the beginning of this series, we're probably going to see some rust from the Lightning early on. And we're probably going to see a little bit of, dead legs because they just haven't been playing every night like the Rangers have. But as the series wears on, that advantage slips to the Lightning as the Rangers start paying the price for playing in a 7-game series and playing so physical. And the Lightning were off for 9 days. This is when your legs will start to get fresher while the other team fades a little bit. Now, is that going to guarantee the Lightning a win? Hell no. Hell no. The Rangers are going to play on adrenaline. They know what's at stake here. But that being said, your body's your body. And I think I think we saw it a little bit in the third period, and with the home crowd tonight, I think we'll see it a little bit more demonstratively. All right, let's get to John Cooper's comments yesterday in the off day. And let me slide back to that one as we go back. Stand by. Here we go. John Cooper. Hopefully.
Of just getting active from your
puck management is a big part of it, because if you don't have it, you can't spend time in the ozone. And that was a big thing for us is if you want to play ozone, you got to make sure the puck gets there. And we were not doing that. And I've said this before, that's a lot of our doing, but it's some of the Rangers doing too, what they're doing against us. So, but you got to tuck pucks behind their D and basically put the work boots on and go get it. And then you can start doing some of the things that, we plan to do. But you turn the puck over, it's a recipe for disaster.
That's for sure. And the Lightning have gotten caught many times.
Heard a few guys say yesterday, this is one game. You feel like there was still perspective that, there's still work. You obviously made a big step yesterday by winning that game, but there's still a lot of work ahead here.
Yeah, we have a team of perspective. I think that's why we've been good in the past about responding after losses and then continuing after that. By no means can we hang our hat because we scored a goal with 42 seconds left and won a hockey game that, we're good. That game had overtime probably written all over it, and who knows what happens then. No different than the winning Game 6 in overtime against Toronto. You still have to go out and perform in Game 7. We scored that last second goal against Florida to win a series. We still have to go out and perform, and it would be, amateur of us to think that because we snuck a game out at the end that we're good.
You love Cooper's perspective there, and this is exactly what he's been preaching and teaching to his players for the last few years. And it's this mental resiliency that the Lightning have to pop back and continue to play the way they did. And I thought that third period was a microcosm of the whole championship mentality. They knew that they needed that goal. They wanted to get it obviously in regulation because you never know what obviously, overtime is a crapshoot. So they really, really were pressing, and you could see that mentality just coming back, and they just overwhelmed the Rangers. And it seems like when the Lightning get in that mode is when they're at their best. And hopefully we'll see that from the puck drop. So get there early tonight, folks. We got a great show for you once again on Lightning Vision. I've seen the script. The freaking videos are off the chain. They're going to be fantastic. So get there early, get in your seats. Got Titus O'Neil, got the whole gang coming tonight, and a few more surprises. So there we go.
John, you go back to 12-6 last night. What did you like about how the team adjusted, and how did you think Riley did last night?
That's what Riley's been prepping for this whole playoffs. I don't think anybody realizes how hard that is. I don't even know. His last competitive hockey game was in April. And then to come in the middle of June and have to be under that spotlight and perform. And I know he's takes that goalie interference penalty, but if that puck doesn't go in his feet, he probably doesn't. And now he's got to try and navigate all these things, and he runs into the goalie. And I think he was sick as anybody, but it was like, hey, don't worry about it, kid. You put yourself in a great position to have a chance to score. It didn't work out for us. But he did everything we asked, and And that's what you need from guys to stay not only in game shape, but in mental shape. And good on him. I mean, that's why you have pros like that around to be able to have that job. And it was great for us.
John, why was last night the night to go back to 12-6? What went into that thought process?
Great question.
Well, there's a lot of things. One, we were 0-2 not doing it. But throw the record aside, it was the matchups help. Get to dictate the last change. For me, we've gone 11-7 a ton, and we've done it at home and on the road. But I think, when you get into the matchups, to have the 12 at home kind of felt like a fit for us, and for one night it worked.
Left side, Mark. John, you mentioned last night that you guys had gotten away from you used the word recipe a little bit. I'm wondering, at what point last night did you feel like that, that recipe was back in play, or so to speak, for what you wanted to do against the Rangers?
8 minutes left in the second period of game 2.
And what, without giving up any trade secrets,
Interesting.
what were the things that showed you that?
It was, to go back, it was puck management. And you don't get to execute anything you want to do unless you have the puck. And we didn't have the puck at all in a lot of the first game and the first half of the second game. But things started to click. We didn't pull that game out. We were close. Probably didn't deserve to win that game in the end. I think that the right team has won all 3 games. But that's when things changed for us at that point of game 2.
Right side, Greg.
It's the Braden Point status update and the possibility for game 4.
He's going for a twirl right now.
Of course, this was
but
yesterday.
He's out for game 4.
Right side, Ed.
John, Alex Lauren had a great, regular season. He hasn't scored yet this postseason, but you look at last game. Like you mentioned, I think last night that line played really well. He starts gets a shorthanded, breakaway. How important is he to just kind of, the formula that you guys have and how he's playing?
So I'll ask, how do you think Anthony Cirelli's played? How many goals does he have? He's got 1. It was a big one, shorthanded. And how do you think Clorne's played? I know you're asking me that question. I think he's played fabulous. He does have a goal. It was just taken off the board.
Uh-huh.
And 10 yes, 10 minutes later. But you can't judge all these players on how many pucks they put in the net. It's hard enough because they judge themselves, but we don't judge them that way. It is, are they putting themselves in a position to help our team win? And yes, it's great to look on the score sheet and see your name. But as our guys have been well aware the last few years, it's way better to see Lightning with the number that's more than the opponent. And I think that's a big reason why we've had success. And yes, do you want everybody to be able to score and put the numbers up? Of course they do. But at this time of year, we don't judge our players on that. And I think, Killer's been awesome. Big part of why we won last night, drawing that penalty the way he did.
We'll take 2 more questions. Probably, Jeff.
Every player's different, their own guy, but is there any Barclay Goodrow you see in Nick Paul in terms of the style and in terms of kind of the?
No, I can't. That'd be hard for me to compare. Everybody's unique in their own ways. If I was going to say one thing, maybe they're both winners. Goody's a winner. In the short time I've had Paul, clearly he's a winner. They do big things at big moments. I've seen Goody do it. Just look at the pass he makes to Coleman. At the last second, you look at the goals Paul scored in game 7. So I guess a short answer right off the cuff, those are things that come to mind. They're both winners, and you like to have both on your team.
Last question, brother.
John, there's been a lot of talk in the playoffs about how it's kind of hard to carry momentum from game to game, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. And with a big win like last night, kind of the dramatic win that you've been a part of a lot in the playoffs, is that win any different? Is it kind of lift the team a little bit more, or is it just next game?
I think, those are questions I guess you ask after tomorrow night's game, so you see what happens. But there's momentum in playoffs. I think though it goes like with series. So look at the Rangers, like they've built, they fell behind in series and then built momentum, and their team has gotten better as series have gone on. I think it's no different than us. Like we kind of fumbled around in the first few games of the Toronto series, but I thought our game slowly got better, and then we carried that on, the momentum, into the Florida series. Whatever, there was a 10-day layoff, so it can be debated now that we went 0-2. That was part of it. Maybe not, but we have to get our momentum back. I think to the question earlier, my answer was, when did things start to click? They started to click for us halfway through the second period of game 2, and we've now kept that going. We had to stop the Rangers' roll, and hopefully that goal with 48 seconds put a little pin in their bubble. I suspect they're going to come out just as they always have in this playoffs, because they're a great team. But, for me, it's gone from series and watching teams get better as opposed to like game to game.
And that will end the press conference. Yeah, put those phones on silent, kids. Yeah, absolutely. As Cooper gets up and walks away. It's one way to make sure guys don't make that mistake again. But still they do. That sounded more like an alarm, even worse. Who's got an alarm going at 11 o'clock in the morning? Anyway, John Cooper there. Some very interesting stuff about going 12-6. I would assume that he's going back to that tonight, or maybe not. We'll see. Not like Riley Nash was a big factor in the game. It still kind of, plays into the matchups, obviously, a little bit. But, I think the Lightning will get a feel for what's best and what they can do at home. It certainly worked because, in the third period, they were absolutely dominant. I think for most of the game they were, especially 5v5. The Lightning had the more dangerous chances. They certainly had more shots. 51 total shots. But that's the way they're going to have to play against Shesterkin. They can't sit there and say, 51 shots is what we have to get every night. It's just keep going, keep pressuring, and play the way that Cooper just said they have to play. They clicked halfway through that second period, and you really saw that third period. I thought the Lightning carried it third period in New York, and obviously most of the game in game 3. So once again, special teams are going to be huge tonight. As far as injuries go, we'll get an update on that probably in this morning's press conference. Not that we're going to learn anything, from either coach, but I would expect the Lightning to have everyone available, and except obviously Braden Point's not going to play. Will he be able to play in game 5, game 6, game 7? If you saw some of the video yesterday of him skating, he looked good at times, but then he took a couple wipeouts just, on his own, and you have to ask yourself what happens there. He was skating around and doing a little drill and then just lost his legs. So, in reading the body language from Coach Coop, it seemed like he was a little, it seems like to me that Pointer kind of had a setback. At some point, he must have had a setback, because I think there was some optimism when he was skating up in New York, and then that kind of just went away a little bit. It's hard to tell. We're not exactly sure what the injury is, and if he plays, it might just even be on the power play, and not be playing, a 200-foot game. So we'll see. He's not going to play tonight, but the Lightning obviously have been able to win without him. And, we'll see if they can get their game ratcheted up to that level. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Rays as they get set to take on the Cardinals tonight. A lot of discussion yesterday on Twitter about ticket prices for this Cardinal series. You got tons of fans that are pissed off. We've been talking about this. We talked about it last year, and they actually did something about it. Not so sure they're going to do anything about it this time, but we'll chat about that and the upcoming series with the Cardinals. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home Get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any issues with stucco problems or any construction defects whatsoever or any real estate questions, he is an expert in the field. A lot of homeowners insurance companies, when it comes time to pay out, they do not want to pay out. And it's Christopher Palermo's job to get you the money that you deserve. So if you've had issues with your homeowner's insurance company, he is the man to call. It's a free call. The best way to contact him is go to the website, PalermoPA.com, PalermoPA.com. You can email him there, set up a free consultation, or you can call him and the office will get you right back to you. Or if they don't answer the phone right there, and take your call right there and get a free call and a free consultation. They will talk you through your, because most of us don't know if we have a case, right? But they do. They know the ins and outs. So if you're not happy with your settlement or you're currently involved with a homeowner's insurance company and you don't think you're getting a fair shake, and by the way, if you don't have an attorney representing you, that's a bad idea. They'll act like they're giving you a fair shake, but they're not. Always better to have somebody representing you. So go to PalermoPA.com, and Chris is an absolute bulldog and will go to bat for you. So no sense in you arguing with the insurance company when he can do it for you. He'll get a bigger settlement, and that'll certainly take care of the fee more than you know. So just take my advice, give him a call, PalermoPA.com. All right, let's bring in our good friend Nick Geddes from Outkick.com this morning. Nick, how are you? Your thoughts on what should be a very exciting Game 4 tonight? I know you'll be there.
I'm doing great. First off, good morning. I made it here finally.
There we go. Go right ahead.
You got me?
I got you now.
Yeah. First of all, good morning. I'm glad I made it here finally to talk some bolts with you. Game 4 tonight. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about the Lightning going into this one. And here's the reason why. I don't know if you mentioned these numbers in the first segment or not, but the Lightning are 7-3 all time when down 2-1 in a series. And under John Cooper, 4-0.
I did
4-0, went down 2-1.
Yes, great minds think alike.
That's right. And going back to 2011, 5-0. So history would tell you right there, the Lightning are going to win this game tonight, knotted up at 2, and then you're going back to Madison Square Garden for game 5, and you're going to try to just get one on the road and bring it back to Emily and flip this series on its head, because I think the Lightning, the third period game 2, and most of that game 3, they found something that worked. And I think New York wasn't able to really stop it. It was Igor Shesterkin who stopped it. So I'm very confident going into tonight.
Yeah, it's amazing, though, and we were talking about this yesterday, the numbers, how different the games were in Madison Square Garden compared to Amalie Arena for both teams in terms of giveaways. Was it 26 and 27 for the Lightning average? In the first couple of games, almost the same for the Rangers. And then they both come to Amalie, and it goes down to 6 and 7. I mean, that's bizarre almost. Is that the ice? Do we have better ice here than they do in New York? Probably. Because here's the thing. Think about this. We're used to having hot weather outside and keeping the ice great. They're not used to that in New York. I mean, it's been a while since they've gone this far in the playoffs. And seriously, I mean, obviously, Madison Square Garden's been there forever, but it's been a long time since they played into June. And it takes a skilled group of people who know what they're doing to make the ice nice when it's 95 degrees outside. So I haven't really heard talk from the players about that, but it certainly is on the stat sheet. You can see it.
Yeah, I don't know much about the ice or ice gate or whatever you want to call it right now. But I will say, I mean, I asked a lot of people when I was there in game 3, like about Madison Square Garden, because I've never been. I don't know if you've ever been. You just hear all these stories, and I'm like, give me straight. Like, tell me what it's like. And I heard the word dumpy is what I heard. Dumpy and nightmare. So it wouldn't surprise me if the ice wasn't the most fantastic, if that really plays a part. Because like you said, 52 turnovers for the Lightning or for the Rangers in the first 2 games, 50 for the Lightning, and then we had 10 combined between both teams in game 3.
Yeah, that is an incredible difference. And I mentioned this yesterday, and it's not something that Vasilevsky probably wants out there. And again, it's just kind of locker room talk that I'm hearing is that Vasi did not like the Lightning in Madison Square Garden, and that may go for the regular season as well. The Lightning had not fared well there. So I don't know. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling what the scuttlebutt is around here. But there's definitely was a big difference. I mean, you go look at Vasilevsky, just look at his body language. He was constantly looking behind him. He couldn't see the puck. He didn't know where the puck was. That's not Andre Vasilevsky. I mean, that's not, we've seen him play for how long? You never see that from him. He's a very confident goalie. He knows where the puck is. He knows where he is. He knows where he needs to be. He just wasn't seeing it well. You could say the high blocker side has been an issue for him. No question about it. That may be something where, when they get the puck up in Madison Square Garden, maybe it's different sight lines, different lighting, different whatever. When that puck goes in the air, sometimes you can lose it. So whatever it was, he was a different goalie in Amalie than he was against the Rangers. And, I would think that's going to continue. But here's the thing, Nick, somebody's got to break serve, right? At some point in this series, if Vasi's having a hard time in New York, he better figure it out because it's not changing. I mean, they're still got to go back to Madison Square Garden. They still got to find a way to win there. And, vice versa, the Rangers are going to have to find a way to win in Amalie Arena. And if what Cooper is saying is they found what they needed to do in the 8 minutes left in the second period, you look at the second and the third up there, and then the most of game 3, the Lightning have really, I think tilted the ice their way, not in a dominant fashion, but certainly tilted it their way. And I would expect that to continue tonight. So.
Yeah. And if they're going to defeat the Rangers in this series, they got to learn to score 5-on-5, more 5-on-5 goals as well. The power play has really been carrying the Lightning in this series, and I'm doing the on the show here, summing this all up right here. The Lightning have scored just, I think, 4 goals 5-on-5 in this series, and I think, and that's just not good. It's simply not good enough through 3 games. I'll put it in simplest terms like that. 4 goals on 5v5 in 3 games is not good enough, especially when you've put 122 shots total on Igor Shesterkin. It's not going to fly because right now he's playing some out of his mind hockey there in net, and we've mentioned it. And the Lightning were literally all 3 goals. The first one was just a changeup.
Yeah.
The Kucherov one. The Stamkos was just an amazing shot. Nobody stopping that. And the third one was just a great pass from Kucherov that was done so perfectly that it just in the nick of time got Shesterkin moving, and it trickled in through him. So every goal the Lightning have had to score against this guy for the most part has had to have been something of special doing.
Yeah.
Basically. So they got to find a way to play better. I mean, they're playing well 5-on-5, but they got to find a way to put the puck in the back of the net 5v5.
No question. All right, puck drops tonight at 8 o'clock. We'll be chatting with Dave Randorf, voice of the Lightning, at 11:30, so we'll chat more about that. TJ Rives is going to join us at 11:15. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on the Lightning as well. And always, if you guys want to get in with us, you can watch us on YouTube and comment there. Comment on Facebook. We'll see your comments, and we will get back to you if you want to jump in here. Jordan Gamelian says, hopefully bring it back to New York 2-2. I think that's where this series is headed. And if you're the Rangers, young players haven't been through this, you're starting to get overwhelmed by a much more experienced team. Now it becomes a mental part of the game as well. It's some uncharted waters for a lot of those Ranger players. All right, so the Rays start a series tonight with the Cardinals. Randy Arozarena, playing against his former team, is very excited to get back at them. Telling Mark Topkin, I'm very excited. A lot of emotions playing against them as the Cardinals come in here, and they're I think they're about middle of the pack right now. Nothing special, but kind of the side story here that a lot of people are talking about. And on Twitter last night, we had a long thread going with a lot of different fans, and it has to do with the prices of tickets for this particular series. I went on there last night, trying to get two outfield tickets, like not even, by the field, $49 face plus the extra fees. You're looking at $48 for an outfield ticket for this Cardinals series. If you want to sit anywhere down the baselines, it's about $140, $150 for a ticket to a midweek baseball game. You got to be effing kidding me. I mean, I know this is just the Rays trying to soak Cardinal fans because they rarely play here. And there's a big Cardinal contingent here, and it has been for a long time in Southwest Florida. So Cardinals have trained here previously for a long time. I get it. But you're also at the same time soaking your own fans. And, somebody, one of the Rays fans went on the Cardinals website. No, it's a team that draws $3 million a year, right? And they're doing family packs that start at $8, and you get a free hot dog and a Coke. They do a all $35 a month, go to as many games as you want. I think that's in a standing room only area. I mean, this is the Cardinals that don't really need to market and mark down tickets that much, but they still do it for their fans. And it just begs the question, why the hell are the Rays not, especially in this time with inflation and gas prices. And oh, by the way, most fans come from Tampa and have to, fill up that tank to come on over the bridge. And, it really wasn't a factor before, but it is now, as gas approaches $5 a gallon, you got to factor that in. One gentleman, Chris Phillips, tweeted at me. He said, I went to the game the other night with my 2 daughters, $130 for tickets in the outfield, $20 to park, $50 for soda, beer, cotton candy. I mean, he didn't even get a hot dog or a cheesesteak, $50, $40 for a shirt. Obviously, that's, that was your choice to do that. If you're buying stuff at the team store, at the stadium, that's not, it's not the best place for your money, but everything else. And he's like, I'd like to go to more games, but at those prices, I can go to maybe 1 or 2 games a year. That's it. And, I brought this up and I wonder, I'd like to get the players' perspective on this. Obviously, the players would love to play in front of more fans, right? They'd love to have more of a home field advantage. And their management is keeping them from playing in front of their fans. Every other team in baseball is doing this. Every other team in baseball. But yet this owner wants to sit there and bitch and moan, and our local media wants to bitch and moan about people not showing up, but they'll never ask the organization why they don't make these ticket specials available like every other team does. And I'm sure the players would love to to play in front of more fans. So this is bullshit. And it's ridiculous. And it's something needs to be done. I mean, last year, the Rays, to their credit, when people were bitching, went to the $10 tickets, and it was a huge success. I don't remember the numbers, Nick, but I would just, anecdotally say that crowds were up 20, 30, 40%. I mean, there were 7, 8, 9,000 more people in the seats after they did that. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's probably about right. But I mean, just keeping it completely honest here, as long as I can remember, the ticket prices have always been more at a premium, obviously, when you're playing the Red Sox, when you're playing the Yankees. I think the Cardinals kind of fall into that same category. This is one of the major teams and markets in the MLB. A team you don't see come here pretty often. So I'm not like shocked or anything, or I'm not even really outraged, to be honest, because this is what's gone on for years. It's always been like that.
For an outfield ticket. It for Yankee games, for Red Sox games. I mean, they're not charging this. That's ridiculous. I don't care if it's the freaking 27 Yankees that are here. You can't be charging $57 for an outfield ticket. $30 for the cheapest ticket not even 30 plus fees. It's like $37 for a ticket in the beach. That's ridiculous. You can go to a Lightning playoff game, a standing room only, for $65 for an Eastern Conference final game. And I'm going to instead go see a Tuesday Cardinals game in Tropicana Field? Are you out of your mind? No.
And there probably won't be a couple things there. With the Lightning playing tonight, you probably won't have much of an audience in the first place there.
It's going to be all Cardinals fans.
It may be most likely correct.
South, yeah.
But if this was like, I said I wasn't really outraged, but I will say the fact that it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday set rather than a Thursday through Sunday or a Friday through Sunday. Like if this was like Friday through Sunday and this was the numbers, like would you be as outraged about it? Because I mean, I wouldn't be, because I'd be like, okay, it's a weekend series. This is the Cardinals. This is a big team coming in. I mean, a lot of really the game's best players. Like, I get it. I will say the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday having what'd you say, $50 for outfield tickets?
It's $49 for the mid-level ticket in the outfield, and after fees, it's like $50, $58, $59, almost $60 for an outfield ticket, bro. Come on.
And then you're gonna pay 20, 25 to park.
Yeah.
Beers, drink. Yeah, I get it. I do get that part. If this was a Friday through Sunday series, though, I wouldn't be really that outraged about it because they've been doing it for years.
Well, and also one of the folks on Twitter asked me, why doesn't the Times do a story on this? I mean, Topkins asking questions to Brooks Raley about his custom made gun store. They're asking about the patches on their sleeves for Pride Night. This seems to me to be an issue that's even more important to the fans. So why are we not asking Ray's marketing folks about these ridiculous prices? And you're sitting there and you're going to bitch and moan about the attendance when you're charged in a market like this, where we all know dispensable income is getting crunched. This is not a high per capita income. It's one of the lowest per capita income markets in Major League Baseball. And you have the highest lower end ticket prices. Look, I get you want to charge $200 for the great seats behind home plate. That's fine. But I mean, when you can go to Boston, Chicago, New York, and other in major markets like this and get way cheaper tickets in the other places, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And if I ever hear him bitch one more time, or anybody bitch about the fans here, shut up. That's what if you're going to price the people out of the market, you can't bitch about the attendance. You just can't. Sorry. If you just want to soak the Cardinal fans, I get it. But then have another ticket for Hillsborough County and Pinellas people, a cheaper ticket or whatever. But I'm sure these Cardinal fans live there anyway too, so it doesn't matter. Just bring the damn ticket prices down. It's ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, especially for the shittiest stadium and the shittiest location in Major League Baseball.
I would actually be more upset. I think I was trying to keep track of it on Twitter. People were saying like $30 before fees to sit in the party deck.
Yeah.
Like
That's an $8 ticket at Busch Stadium. $8.
Like, let me preface this. I made a bold statement last week saying that I think the Trop is actually one of the quirkiest ballparks, and the left to right pan is actually very appealing to me. That does not include the party deck. I have never been in the party deck. I will not sit in the party deck for any amount of money. I just will not do it. And so 30, if you're charging 35,
you know, like the palm frond thatched roofs or whatever the F that is up there.
I have no, I might get hit by a bird or something up there. They're always like flying around up there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that far away from home plate. That's just me. I think it's a little too far away from my liking. And if I'm going to sit up there, I mean it, like $5.
Yes.
Like
yes.
$5.
You got to give people a get in price. You got it, because there's a lot of people that just want to go in to the stadium, have a beer, stand up. You know,
yeah, the center field.
Walk around the 360.
Half the crowd stands in center field for the most part. I mean, when you go, are you ever sitting in your seat? Really, you're in center field.
No, besides the seats that point towards the outfield. You mean those seats? Yeah, no, I'm not. You mean the luxury boxes that point towards the outfield instead of home plate? You mean those seats? No, I'm not in those seats. God, it's such a dump. It's so bad, and whatever. So, and to freaking charge that much money, and it's going to be tonight. I can tell you exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be probably 50, 60, 70% Cardinal fans, and everybody's going to bitch about this team's in the hunt for the playoffs, and there's no Rays fans here. Yeah, because they're all watching the Lightning, an organization. I'll say this. Ticket prices for the playoffs are very, very expensive for the Lightning, but it's the playoffs. You see where the Braves jack up the tickets for their playoffs? Of course, that's a reason to jack up prices. A midweek game against the Cardinals is not a reason to jack up prices, but that's where we are. So whatever. That's my rant for that. You can't defend it. You just can't. You can't. And on the field, Arozarena tonight, and Shane Baz is coming back. I believe he's set to pitch this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been cleaning up at AAA Durham. So it'll be great to get him back, especially after Yarbrough gets toasted again yesterday as a starter. We still haven't figured out why the hell they're still starting him and not using an opener. But it should be a good series. Obviously these series now, these interleague series are a little bit more, a little bit more interesting. First time you see the Cardinals in a long time. There'll be a lot of, St. Louis fans there tonight. So it'll be an interesting watch. Obviously, I won't be watching it, but you can watch.
I'm a little interested. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out actually this first. Did you see Jack Flaherty, the Cardinals pitcher?
I did.
And he ripped the Rays players for not wearing the patch. I was trying to see. I think he's on the IL right now.
Oh, is he?
So I was trying to see if he's actually even going to be there, even in the dugout. But I was wondering if there will be anything more from that with these two teams playing each other now.
You mean fallout from what Flaherty said about because
Flaherty spoke out. I wonder if any of the other Rays players will be asked about it now that they're playing the Cardinals and Flaherty potentially is in the building.
Well, I'm sure they will be asked about it. It's going to, because it was a huge topic on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. Well, you may have sent me the Instagram post that was out there, and it got, I want to say, 170,000 likes or something. Let me see if I can find this. I mean, the number was just like off the freaking charts. Did you see? You know the post I'm talking about, right?
From Flaherty?
Yeah.
I saw it.
Did you send that to me?
I did not send it, but I saw it myself yesterday.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it got hundreds of thousands of.
Oh, ESPN picked it up. I saw ESPN was talking about it yesterday on some of their shows, and they wrote a piece on it, I believe. So it's getting a lot of play. It kind of feels like now with the Cardinals coming in here, I have the feeling we're probably going to get something more on it with the two teams being in here and Flaherty maybe being in town. I'm not sure. Trying to verify that right now. But regardless, it kind of feels like the story that's not going away. I saw Nick Anderson. You see Nick Anderson yesterday, by the way?
No, I did not.
He went on Twitter and kind of in support of his teammates. He said, like, it boggles my, he said, it's astonishing to me how people don't understand that different beliefs exist. And because you have different beliefs, in no way, shape, or form does that mean you look down on that individual or think they are lesser. You can love everyone and have different beliefs.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really got me about this whole thing is I really feel like if you go and look at what Jason Adams said, and we put the quotes up yesterday. We talked about the quotes yesterday about loving everyone and having, he went out of his way to say, I accept them. We love them. You're welcome here. All of that. And none of that gets any play. None of that gets any play. And I think it's important that he did say those things and verbalize those things. And, everybody who's talking, who's ripping them is saying, oh, they hate, they don't accept, they're not intolerant. And that's, well, did you read the quotes? Because they said exactly the opposite. So like multiple times they said exactly the opposite. And I understand in the LGBTQ community that they feel if even a little of, if you don't do everything that is asked of you, you become a bigot. And no matter how much you do or how much you say or whatever you say, if you don't do everything, then you're a bigot. And I think a lot of people are kind of pushing back on that. And some of the hate, the hate towards these players, it's certainly, you didn't see that hate from the players towards the LGBTQ community. In fact, it was much the opposite. They said they love them and acceptance and all of that. And then there's a lot of fights about the religious aspect of it, which we can get into that. There are a lot of people that believe that those passages in the Bible, I didn't even know this. I just read this from a theologian, a historic theologian who said that, who studies the Bible in its translations, says it has been mistranslated into English. And what, quote, Jesus was talking about was pedophilia and not homosexuality. And I'm guessing if you're going back and translating from a language of 2,000 years ago, those things can be closely related. I don't know. But the bottom line is, what's in your heart? What's in your heart? And from what I can tell, from what Jason Adams said, there's love, there's acceptance, there's welcoming. That's what he said. And of course, the detractors never mention any of that. So, and here's the other part about it. How much of this is on the Rays? The Rays. It seems very odd to me that someone was so observant that they went and saw each and every one of these players who weren't wearing this particular patch, and then he was brought forward to answer questions for everybody. Seems like it was very much coordinated to bring this up and talk about it. And people are even asking questions. Have other players in the past said, I don't want to wear these patches? And why was it not a deal then? And I hear from Luke W., who chimes in today. He says, the issue is that Topkin is the only voice in the media for the Rays. The Athletic doesn't have a beat reporter. Do they have a beat reporter now? I know they had one for a while, but I'm not sure if they have one now. And MLB's beat reporter isn't even on Twitter. So Topkin is really the only voice. And I do think it's interesting that, Topkin talks about, and when he did the story on Brooks Raley, right? He's the one from Uvalde, right? If I'm remembering this correctly. He asked him about his custom gun business, which I thought was like, what does that have to do with anything here? And he's not selling guns to 18-year-olds. He's not doing any of that. Why even bring that up? Why talk about this, especially with somebody who went to that school and his heart broken over what happened? I mean, that was a real eyebrow raiser to me. And, we're doing this story on these players, and we're getting special interviews with them. And here's all these other stories that I think are really important about these ticket prices and fans that we're ignoring. And why is that? Why is that? Are those not stories that the Times wants to cover? It seems like that affects a lot more people than these other stories. The other stories are more sensational and certainly fit another agenda. And how culpable are the Rays in this? It seems to me that they become more embroiled in these political issues and take more heat from it than any other organization. I don't know how much did the Yankees take any heat for them doing what they did. I mean, are the players on all these other teams expected to wear patches and everything else? I don't know. I haven't done the research on that, but it seems like the Rays are the only ones that get embroiled in these. The Rays were the ones who tweeted out, on opening day last year, this is a great day to arrest the murderers of Breonna Taylor. I mean, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? You want to have these political arguments and support those things. You're going to alienate a lot of your fans. And I'm just not sure why they're purposefully dipping their toes into these highly emotional, highly charged issues. It seems like they want to put themselves out there. Am I wrong in that?
Well, I think I said yesterday I didn't really want to put it on the Rays because they've been doing these Pride Nights for a long time.
Very positive,
in a very positive manner. I think it's been really great. This is obviously 5 players who decided not to take part in wearing the patch on the jersey, and were asked about it. So I credit Jason Adam for giving a straight opinion and not going full, canned with his answer. He gave a straight opinion, and I know there's people that are going to support it. There's people that are going to hate it. And you've seen that. But I just really don't want to put much on the Rays because like I said, they've been doing it for years with no issue. But again, in the day and age we live in, I guess maybe things are different now because of the way the world has changed over the years. I don't know. I'm sure that's part of it. But yeah, I don't want to put much on the Rays because it's something they do. Every team, I think, does it for the most part.
Yes.
And there's been no pushback from anybody.
Shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be.
These Pride games are fantastic. The Lightning do it. The Rays do it. I think it's fantastic that they do it. And it's been an overwhelmingly positive thing for everyone.
And it always brings up to the games as well. There's a lot of people that come out to that specific game and they have like custom merch and everything. I think they put the rainbow star on like the mound as well. So they go all out and do a great thing for the community. And I mean, I love that out of your community baseball team, in my opinion. So I don't really put it on the Rays. I think it's the 5 players' decisions. And of course, you could have the argument though of like when you put on that jersey, you represent the Rays, right?
Right.
You could kind of make that argument as well. So I understand that too. And like we said yesterday, was it worth it? Was it worth making that statement based on all the pushback and the media attention it's gotten
for the players?
For the players,
I probably in hindsight they're probably saying no. But I think of the way the players handled it, and these are their religious belief and their convictions. I think they did it in a very classy, loving, accepting way. But for a lot of people, it's not enough. I'm sure they can have. To me, I believe, and you read all the comments, and there are hundreds of thousands of comments, and I read things from both sides, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds right. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds right too. It comes down to, I think people should be allowed to have their own beliefs. And in situations like this, I think these players really felt like putting on those patches was promoting something that they personally don't believe in, or I don't even want to I don't want to reword what they said. They said what they said. So, and I think a lot of people support that, and at the same time showing acceptance and love and, equal rights and supporting the gay community and all of those things. But I think the pushback is sometimes I think people feel like if you don't jump through all the hoops, you're a bigot. You can jump through 7, 8, 9, 10, but if you don't jump through number 11, you're a bigot. And that, I think that's what some people are pushing back from. Either way, I think is probably I think the Rays maybe put themselves out there more than they needed to do, in my opinion. So because everything was so positive for so long, and it worked great, and then suddenly it doesn't. So
yeah, and as far as it, honestly, like it's a non-issue in the clubhouse. I don't know if we might have not even played the audio from Kevin Cash the other day, but I had the quote here in front of me, and he said the same thing, that the organization's done a great thing with the Pride Nights and respecting everybody's right to express themselves, to choose to wear it or not to wear it, and kind of downplayed that it would have really any impact in the clubhouse. So I think that's the most important thing here, is it's not going to affect anything on the field. And you didn't see, even when Kevin Kiermaier made his statement, in support and said why he wore it, I mean, there was nobody's like jawing at each other about it. It seems like they all respect it. And to me, fans, media, we're all going to make a big whoop at it, but it doesn't seem like anybody in the clubhouse really turned an eye on it. So there you go.
And, it is worthy to note that the night that story came out, the Rays bullpen blew the game.
And it was Rayleigh and Beeks. It was Rayleigh and Beeks.
I mean, was it in their minds? Was it part of their mindset? Look, I don't know if you can go out and do your job at a high level like that when, you're sitting there, you're probably on your phone in the bullpen watching yourself just get roasted nationally. I mean, it's got to affect you. I'm telling you. And I was going to mention this yesterday because CJ McCollum was on Get Up yesterday, and they were asking him about the third quarter for the Celtics because they've been so bad. And he mentioned that NBA players, when they go to halftime, get on their phones. Some of them check Twitter. Some of them check messages. They'll get messages from old coaches or whatnot that might give them some advice. But a lot of them are checking Twitter. Like, are you kidding me? Like I think
wasn't that the thing? That was Kevin Durant's thing, was it not? Like he had all these burner accounts, and he would just read everybody's. Yeah, that's been going on for a long time.
During a game, you're going to go put that garbage in your head. And I don't know.
I don't know if some use it as motivation. Let's be honest, if Michael Jordan was playing in this day and age, if he had a rough second quarter, he manufactures his own motivation. He would do the same thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He wouldn't need Twitter. If he'll just bring it out of thin air. Hey, some guy in the fourth row said I suck. Okay, here we go. But I mean, I found that a little bizarre that guys would, if I'm a coach, but I mean, they're grown ass men. What are you going to tell them? No phones. I mean,
doesn't the NFL have don't they fine you if you go on your phone? I think who was it? I think it may have Chad Johnson. I think it sounds right if it was
JP.
I think one of them may have tweeted during the game or from the sideline.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. I don't know about that.
Stay off your phone during the game. Stay off your phone during the game. You wanted some motivation, listen to the coach. Come on. That's crazy. And I don't know, were these Rays players on their phones? I mean, they're in the bullpen.
Well, I don't think this came out. I don't think this came out until after the game. I don't think anybody watching the game might have even picked up on it.
All right.
So,
yeah, the backlash didn't start till afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get back into the Lightning. We'll hear from Alex Killorn and Corey Perry as we get set for Game 4 tonight in Amalie Arena. It's an 8 o'clock puck drop. We will see you at Amalie. Get there early for the big show. Lots of good videos, lots of good hype videos. You will not want to miss it. And we'll be back. Dave Randorf is going to join us at 11:30. TJ Rives at 11:15. We'll talk some Bucs OTAs as well. Stay with us. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you, and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We are brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his medical team over there doing a great job. He will help you out with testosterone replacement therapy. And if you've been feeling down and run down, maybe you got long COVID, that's something that they've been working with over there at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. He works with the military, keeps our pilots in tip-top shape, so he can do the same for you. If you're looking to lose weight, they have great programs for that as well, not just, diets, but supplements that they can give you that will help you out. And they do everything on a personalized basis because everybody's body is different. Everybody metabolizes things differently, so they find out what's best for you and give you a personalized plan. That's modern medicine. It's not the one-size-fits-all, one-pill-fits-all strategy of years past. This is new stuff, folks. So if you're looking for someone with the cutting-edge techniques of the military that you can go to and get an appointment, because a lot of places are not taking new appointments, new patients. The Bay Area Modern Medical Center is. So get in there. They may not be taking new patients forever, so you want to act quickly. Go see Christopher Lugo and the great team over there. It's at BAMMC.com, BAMMC.com. Go to the website, find out more information, and all the contact information is right there. All right, Nick Geddes from Outkick.com joining me here again. I wanted to just hit this real quick, too, because one of the folks on Twitter brought up something about the Rays that really kind of pissed me off. He got some tickets or some vouchers last year during the shirts off your back promotion or whatever it was for some free tickets, and then then they get 50% off their tickets this year. Well, he went to put in his code to do that, and it said code not accepted, and the expiration was June 30th, and the code was not accepted. So he tells me he called Rays Baseball, got the voicemail a couple of times, finally got a hold of somebody, and the gentleman gave me his email so he can email him all of the codes and my vouchers. He says, I have like 14 of them. This is happening to everybody who has ticket vouchers from last year. My guess is they only made them valid through May 31st, since that was the deadline to use the free ticket vouchers. 50% off runs through June 30th. So you've got, maybe thousands of Rays fans out there that were trying to take advantage of this 50% off thing that they gave out last year, and the codes don't even work. I mean, that's just small time BS. And I said, keep me posted. Let's make sure that they fix this. But there's a lot of fans that are out there that are dealing with this. This is another one from a longtime Rays fan, Mark. I'm very upset over the Tampa Bay Slimes for putting out that article regarding the Rays players and the team as well, putting those players in that position. Should have just let the players wear the regular uniforms like they have in the past years. So that's from longtime Rays fans, Mark. And I sense that's a lot of the sentiment, and we'll just leave that where it's at, because we got game 4 tonight with the Lightning. And I haven't seen any updates on injuries. Nick, have you seen any updates on injuries for either team? We all know Braden Point is not playing tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Strome, who left that game, I think in the second period, I want to say. I think they're expecting him to play tonight, barring any setbacks. So Ryan Strome will be out there, their second line forward. So
sorry about that.
I think the Rangers. So the Rangers, I think, should be.
Strome?
What was that?
I'm sorry. There you are. I hit the wrong button. Finish that thought.
Oh, you didn't have me potted up?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the sound ready here, and I hit the wrong button.
You're producing. You're doing a lot of.
You know me.
You're wearing a lot of hats today.
You know me and my fat thumbs. Can't get any.
But yeah,
let alone run this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Rangers expect Ryan Strome to play tonight. I saw. I think he got hurt maybe in that second period. I think he left, so he'll be back in there. Their second line forward, and I believe plays on their second power play unit as well. So I don't think any big injuries for the Rangers. Barclay Goodrow, I think, came back at some point in that game in Game 3, so he should be okay to play as well. And for the Lightning, we know Braden Point's not going to be out there, obviously. Besides that, I think they should be all systems go. So,
all right, we'll chat with Dave Randorf here in just a few minutes at 11:30. TJ Rives is going to join us at 11:15. Right now, let's listen in to Alex Killorn and Corey Perry from yesterday's media session.
Your line, you think, matches well with this advantage ad line to be so effective against them?
Well, I think first and foremost, Cirelli is a great centerman. Obviously, C gets the Selke, or what is it, 5th in Selke voting. But as a line, I think we keep it pretty simple. We do our best to get pucks behind their defensemen, as cliche as it sounds, and we feel like in those situations, all three of us are pretty good at protecting the puck down low. Maybe we haven't produced as much as we would have liked to, but I think as a line, when we're making them play defense for a good majority of the game, that's successful for us and what we're trying to do.
For both you guys, to play off of that even more, how much does it help, or do you like knowing when you're at home you have a certain matchup in your, whether it's preparation or shift to shift when you're going out there? When that line goes boom, you're going out there. How much do you guys like the matchup?
Yeah, it's I don't know that we think about it a ton.
Killorn.
It's just more predictable in the sense that when you're gonna go out there with line matchups. You really don't try to change your game a ton playing different lines. I think every line on our team has a certain identity, and we want to not play against the other line, but play to the best of our abilities. So, not crazy, just more predictable for sure.
Corey, I know part of the game plan in a lot of series is getting closer to the crease or taking away the goalie's eyes and that kind of thing like that. Like, where's the balance? Like, I know you on your penalty, like you got right there, then what's the balance of getting close but not too close, I guess?
Well, there's always that fine line. It's a matter of taking his eyes away. It's a matter of being there but not in the blue. We're gonna go there. We're gonna make it hard. It's just our identity as a team, and you look in the playoffs as it gets deeper. Goals are harder to come by, and you have to work a little bit harder. And it's not always going to be those great passing plays. It's going to be rebounds or tips, and those goals are scored right in front of the net. So somebody has to go there, and somebody has to. Guys are gonna have to do the job to make it hard on them.
Right side, Tom. Corey, was there a change in mentality? John was just saying that middle of the second period of Game 2 was kind of when you guys finally started playing your game. It was just that, hey, what we're doing is not working here. It kind of put us back on your perspective there, or what changed at that moment, do you think?
Well, what we were doing wasn't working, but at the same time, I think we found our legs. We understood where we were, and it's Eastern Conference Final. There's only a handful of games left, and that's kind of the message is, if you're not happy with how you're playing, what are you going to do to change it? And I think guys really bought in, and it's one of those things where it might have just clicked, and we found our groove, and whatever it is, you have to be able to go out each shift and continue to do what we've been doing lately.
Get in the groove. Not exactly sure what that means, or at least they're keeping it close to the vest. But the Lightning have definitely tilted the ice their way and are ready to get this going once again tonight. And hopefully they can pick up where they left off in that third period where they dominated.
I love the I love the little comment that he had there. I couldn't see the look on his face when he said it, if there was anything, but the little comment about we want to be in his face, but not too far in the blue. Maybe a little response to what Gerard Gallant said, because Gerard Gallant was basically like a version of a quote tweet at Corey Perry, who was always near the blue. He's been doing it for the last 20 years. So, but I want him to see him score one. If he gets another opportunity like he had in that third period in front of the net, of the feet, bury it.
We're going to play the rest of the interview later on in the show because we got TJ Rives coming up next. I don't know if anybody asked him about the histrionics of Igor Shesterkin, lead actor for the New York Rangers.
Did you see the little compilation video? There's been a lot of fans posting
I retweeted that. Yes.
Good
stuff.
stuff.
My God, I laughed my ass off at that. It's when you see the compilation, you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Flopping around like a salmon at the market. Stop it. Stop it. God, it was bad. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, TJ Rives will join us as the Bucs are out there and doing their OTA thing, and 12 is out there wearing his Brady underwear, I'm sure, which he showed off yesterday. We'll talk all things Tom Brady and Buccaneers with TJ Rives when we come back. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, also brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. It's Father's Day coming up. I know TJ Rives is looking forward to getting one of those tag watches or those Rolex watches he loves to wear that you can get at the Gold and Diamond Source, new or used. They've got a beautiful selection there, so gonna go on, do some shopping for Dad. Dad's, they might like a necklace or a bracelet or rings. I think TJ is looking for the new nose ring for this year's son. No. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at the goldendiamondsource.com. What's up, TJ? How are you, my friend?
Always good to be with you. Yes, I actually drove by the Golden Diamond Source there with your friends Steve and Julie Weintraub yesterday on the way out to the beach, and I'm only slightly sunburned. I've got like the dad bod rocking, and the sunburn is not horrific. So we have survived. Summer is underway, and we got a big game for tonight for the Lightning because I need them to continue to win. You're in camp with this. Everybody's in camp with this, but I want the New York honks that are bothering me to shut up. And if they will, if the Lightning will go ahead and take care of business tonight, it'll be much quieter in my world, because all I've now heard for the last day is about how the officials gave away game 3. And I'm trying to set a couple of them straight from media people, including on the things that are never going to happen, on like the never going to happen list.
Yeah.
You don't get a 4-minute power play in the final period of a road game against the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. That's never supposed to happen, and that's what New York got Sunday.
He had a little blood right there on his lip. It was a little trickle. So I mean, I loved when he went over to the bench and got it. And the guy's just dabbing his lip, and there's not even blood on the white towel. I'm like, what?
I know. And so they gave them, the officials, a 4-minute power play. And I might have mentioned in a tie game on the road against the 2-time defending champions, shut up about the officiating.
And Trouba,
the officials did not put that goal past Shesterkin. Did I say it right?
You did.
With 41 seconds left.
No,
that wasn't a referee that did that, right?
No, that was a 5-on-5 goal.
Referee did not make the Kucherov made the pass, right? No, that was not an official that made the pass.
Yeah, and Shesterkin, when the goal went in, I thought he was going to have another seizure, as he had a couple of seizures in the game, but yet made 47 or 48 saves or whatever the hell it was. I was concerned for him, though. I thought he was
for his safety.
I thought he was having a heart attack or something.
So anyway, again, I've got another media. I'm looking at another media honk right now that just tweeted this a few minutes ago about how he's reminiscing about 2014 and about how the Rangers advanced to the Stanley Cup final out of the Eastern Conference final. I keep saying to all these New York people that it is fascinating to watch ESPN put stuff in the NHL, put stuff in the promos, because all the stuff from 1994 is in standard definition, and they had to dig up VHS for the last time that the Rangers did anything at this level. It's back at the time frame when Bill Clinton's the president.
Oh my!
Can we say on the JP show that O.J. Simpson murdered his wife and her friend? Yes, all of that happened in 1994. The World Cup was here in this country.
Yeah.
And it was standard definition in the VHS. There wasn't even a DVD.
We didn't even
last time the Rangers did anything.
We didn't even have like video games or any like real video games. It was crazy. But I will say this. There's a silver lining to these obnoxious Ranger fans, because I was, I'm up at a Chase Club.
I saw your social media photo with those clowns. Did those clowns finally get under control? That you tweeted that after the game. Did they get under control?
Guys were nonstop. Let's go Rangers! And there was a guy behind him with one of the wackadoodles.
Good.
And he was like right up in the rear. I thought I actually filmed a little bit. I said, this could come to blows. Something.
You could be testifying in a criminal matter later in life.
I was going to get a really good viral video, but it didn't happen. But so these guys were just nonstop, and they're up most of the game. It's still like I had to go check back in during the 4-minute minor. They're like, let's go Ranger. And then we check back in with them when Pally scores. And the Lightning fans were giving them the business on the way out,
as they should have.
Oh, exactly. And this is when we bitch about the Ranger fans. This is the moment that you just revel in. These guys were
I'm just speculating here. There were like 4 of them I saw in your photo, right? 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That 3 of the 4 or all 4 of them live here.
Probably.
They don't even live in New York.
Nice guys, by the way. But they were just, and they came to the bar.
You're there and you're asking for it. So
it was all good. But one of our Lightning fans that happens to have you see the 3 championship rings? She was like right in.
Yes, she flashed them.
She's like, this is what we call the Lightning brass knuckles for Ranger fans.
Good for her.
Get you some of that.
Good for her. I'm like, and by the way, they have the Rangers have a real chance to win this series. There is no doubt. And so, at least here in the short term, can we get it back to 2-2 and silence it for the rest of like my Tuesday night and my Wednesday.
Well, that's where it starts. It's where it starts for the Lightning, and I feel like they have a really good shot at doing that tonight. All right, so the Bucs are opening up OTAs, Mr. Sideline Guy, and Mr. Brady is out there in his underwear.
That would be that hat. Yes, the champion.
His Brady underwear, which he expertly showed yesterday on his Instagram story, acting like he didn't want to be seen in his briefs. And, I was like, oh, my God, just do a commercial. Come on. Don't be hiding behind the towel, acting like you don't want Giselle to take the picture. I don't know. He's had a busy offseason, bro. I'm just happy to see him out there throwing a football. I'm happy to see him.
He was there. I saw a little while ago, and Leonard Fournette is out there, and they're going over what they're going to go over, and this is the last time they will be around the coaching staff, et cetera, at least in a mandatory capacity until training camp. Now, I have to believe he will be back there a little bit, probably working out at some point. And then when does Gronk show up? When does he sign? When does he show up?
When he's ready.
And that'll be whenever Gronk is ready. Exactly. Right. So good to see those guys back out there. In particular, again, we keep talking about this. If you're working with Russell Gage, if you're working with a new running back like Rashard White, if you're working with new players, as Tom Brady will be, then this is valuable time here. New offensive lineman as well. You've got a new rookie offensive lineman. You've also got Shaq Mason, who you've signed. This is valuable to get together with those guys and go over all of this. And it was good to see Coach BA, Bruce Arians, out there back on the golf cart again, roaming around and riding around. There's no confirmation when we have a second golf cart for Todd Bowles. It's only for BA having been wounded and not being able to walk. We will not have dueling golf carts, apparently.
I hope not. Mr. Bowles probably needs to be walking around, seeing everything. He's still a young man, and not that Bruce is old, but no, it's good to see. It brings up the question: what is his role going to be? What do you sense his role will be out there? More instructive in terms. I've heard of him like taking Trask under his wing and trying to develop him as a quarterback.
That would be great. That would be great. He says special assistant to the general manager, and he even deadpanned right after that, whatever that means. Special advisor, special assistant. And you got to be careful with this. You got to be careful with how much you're still on the scene, and how much is your presence alone going to maybe undermine what these decisions should be? Should you have gone for it on fourth down? Why did you not have another offensive lineman active so that when an offensive lineman got hurt, blah, blah, blah? Because all those things fall on Todd Bowles now. So you got to be careful on the shadow still being there and walking around and being around, because these things have been problems before. I mean, the one thing I just thought of when we were saying this is when Dean Smith, we're back to the basketball analogies, when Dean Smith retired, Dean Smith was retired, but Dean Smith didn't leave. Dean Smith still had an office down the hall from Matt Doherty, his former player who took over as the coach. Dean Smith was still out at practice, and as North Carolina began to struggle, like in the second season of Matt Doherty's tenure, the shadow was still there because the shadow was down the hallway and still at the practice. So I'm just throwing that out there as an analogy. It can be an issue. Hopefully it won't be an issue.
Yeah, and I think with Bruce and Todd, they have such a great working relationship and always have. I mean, he handed over the keys to him. There's this reason he did it. It's not like Bruce wants to be involved in the day-to-day anymore, but he certainly has a lot of information and experience that he can share when called upon. And I think that's probably what his role is going to be. He will give his input when called upon by Todd Bowles. I think that's probably fair to say. And it's interesting. I remember Coach Bowden, when he left, he was gone. Like he didn't want to talk to the press about the team. He's like, this is Jimbo's team. Let him handle it. I'm done. I'm just, I'm ceremonial at best if you need me. But he very much walked away from the program in deference to Jimbo Fisher. And I'm not saying one way is better to do it than the other way. Every situation is different.
Well, you just jogged me on the analogy. Steve Spurrier in recent years, now that he's no longer at South Carolina, has an office in the football building at the University of Florida. They have named the field after him. He is out at practice. It is the same. And Dan Mullen actually embraced it. And Dan Mullen was smart to embrace it on let me give at least the outward appearance that I'm on board with the old ball coach giving me input, whatever, even if I'm in the back room going, he doesn't have it anymore. I'm not listening to him. But at least from the outward appearance, and this will be the same with Billy Gillespie. My understanding, I don't think the dynamic has changed. Spurrier still has an office in the football building and will be out and around in practice, opposite of what you're talking about with Bobby Bowden.
Yeah, I think Napier. I don't know what their relationship is with Spurrier at all, but I would think that Spurrier is there.
He better at least publicly have one that kind of bows to the man that helped make it.
Yes,
play a little homage, right?
He's not running down the. He's not running down the
old ball coach wants to talk to you about pass routes and wants to talk to you about scheme. Listen, it's not a bad thing. He might know a thing or two about that.
Yeah, he might indeed. All right. Any other thoughts? You can. We got Dave Randorf coming up here in a little bit. TJ, any other thoughts on the Rays on or off the field?
I think. I know. I see you battling on Twitter too, and there's I mean you're continuing the good fight.
Yes.
Obvious there are now some things that are being done in place to try to correct some of what they haven't done. I mean, look, in fairness, they used to offer discounted tickets the same way and people weren't buying them. And remember, they had the summer concert series that was included in your ticket price. They have tried some things in the past.
They packed the house with those summer concerts.
And
the 7-Eleven ticket thing was a huge
right.
success. The $5.
So they have done some things. And so you are not out of line to continue to repeat. They should be doing some things like this, because I saw the person that answered you on Twitter and said, if I am going with my kids and we are paying to get in and paying to park and paying to eat, and I have to spend $400, $350 or $400, we're not doing that more than a couple of times a year. So then you can't gripe about affordability costing you people coming back 10 times or 20 times to watch games.
Not in this economy. Not going to work.
Oh Lord, no, and not with the gas and the other stuff. Listen, let's see what the Lightning do tonight. Let's hope they get out to the lead tonight, which did not happen Sunday.
I would like
that, and we'll rock out. I will make this prediction right here, right now, Tuesday morning on the JP Show. Lightning win the night. Lightning are running off 4 in a row. Easy for me to say. They will go to Madison Square Garden and win, and they will come back here and close it out. Is that Saturday or Sunday for the potential closeout if they win Game 5? What is that?
That'll be
Game 6.
Game 6 is Saturday.
Saturday.
Game 7 would be Monday.
All right.
I'm not mistaken.
Let's see what happens tonight, because you've got a chance to really shake their confidence. Remember, for all the blather about New York this, New York that, there is a team in front of them that has repeatedly demonstrated they know how to win these series, especially if they get momentum. And if they get it rolling again tonight and get this thing to 2-2, they are the favorites, regardless of whether New York has 2 pending home games and the Lightning only have one. Again, easy for me to say, easy for us, detached. I'll be interested to hear more of what Dave has to say here in a minute or two. Love the work he does with Bally Sports. But I think if they win the night, they're winning 4 in a row. We shall see. And it's on to a history-making attempt at 3 straight Stanley Cups if they get that. We'll see.
I hope you're right, my friend. I think you are.
All right.
All right, great stuff, TJ. Thanks for joining us, brother. We'll catch up with you next week.
Always hang out with my people. Happy summer. Go Bolts. See ya.
If you get a second mortgage, we'll see you at the Rays game as well. All right. Quick break. When we come back, Dave Randorf will join us, and we'll talk some more Lightning. The voice of the Lightning. 2 minutes away. Stay with us. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucks, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFi Lava.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. As we rejoin you here, we're going to hook Dave Randorf up here in just 1 second. As I'm running the board today and everything.
Appreciate it. I know you're busy.
What's up, Dave? How are you, partner?
I am doing good. Andrew, how are you doing?
It's JP.
Oh, sorry. I'm talking to Andrew here. Sorry, I'm walking and talking and doing the same thing.
I know. I can hear
you doing good, buddy.
I can hear you in the background doing a lot of different things. You're running around crazy. You're doing morning skate. You're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you taking some time to join
It
us
is all
here
good.
as we got Game 4 tonight. And let's, if we may, just go back and relive a little bit of that Game 3. You've been doing this for a long time, my friend, but down 2-0 in a series, Eastern Conference Final, down 2-0 in the game, and you come back with 3 straight goals in the winner with 41 seconds left. I mean, wow. How do you encapsulate that game?
You know, and you and I had a chance to talk during the second intermission of that game. And listen, I liked a lot about the Lightning game and how it was trending, but again, you're down a goal and it's a must-win period. You're not going to be knocked out of the playoffs if you lose that game, but down 3-0, it's pretty much over. So it is desperation time, but they didn't play desperate. They just stuck with their attack. They have found their game 5-on-5. I mean, the 52 shot speaks for itself. A regulation playoff game record and 84 shot attempts. They were putting a lot of pucks to the net. And they just stuck with it. This team has been through so much together. They know that there's no panic, there's no quit, and there's no panic. More importantly, in their group. And when you look at the summary, the stars were the stars, right? You had Stamkos, you had Palat, you had Kucherov, you had Vasilevsky, the core guys, all front and center again in another emotional, amazing win in the playoffs for the Lightning.
And Dave, it was such a different atmosphere, really, because I was looking at some of the numbers, and both teams were in the mid 20s in giveaways in Madison Square Garden, and they come to Amalie Arena and they're both in the 5. I think 5 for the Lightning, 6 for the Rangers. I mean, a huge disparity. You were up there in New York. Was the ice bad? Was it just different circumstances? I mean, that's a weird. I've heard some things that Vasi was like. The lighting was not the greatest. He didn't, he was constantly looking for the puck. It looked like 2 totally different, situations. What do you attribute that to?
Oh, geez, I don't know. I just, I don't think at this stage of anybody's career, especially Vasilevsky's, you can't really look at the lighting in Madison Square Garden as anything like that. You know what I mean? It is. I just think that it was an off night. Unfortunately, they had a poor outing in Game 1. 28 giveaways, I believe, was the number, and that's just way too many for Game 1 of an Eastern Conference Final. I think the Rangers had something to do with that, but I think the Lightning more or less had more to do with it. They just weren't in sync. I think a couple things have happened. They have, there was the layoff. There was the 8-day layoff, and they can say it wasn't a factor and they weren't tired or rusty, but I don't think there's any question that was the case. And I think now that we're past that point, I think a lot of guys would maybe circle back to that and think, yeah, maybe you're right. And nobody wants to admit it because that means that they didn't prepare properly, or it could be assumed that they didn't prepare properly, or the coaches didn't get them ready to go during that time off. So nobody wants that, but we're beyond that now. Now it's a series. And I think the other thing that has helped here is I really think it was necessary, and in my opinion anyway, to get back to 12 and 6, 12 forward, 6 defensemen. They've been playing 11 and 7 a lot of late, and I know this team has done that many, many times over the last couple of years in the playoffs and the regular season. Yeah. So they are accustomed to it. But just given the scenario with no Braden points and a lot of hockey and no flow to their game, I just think that it brought things back together. It allowed the defensive pairings to come together and get some flow and some rhythm instead of working with 7D and the lines and the pairings being a constant jumble. I mean, even when you are 12 and 6, you can still, roll it back to 9 forwards. Right. You can still cut back to whoever you want to play, but you still have that security blanket to put the fourth line out there for a breather, to get, the matchups correct or whatever the case may be. So I think that was a big factor in having the big team push in game number 3.
Hey, Dave, this is Nick here. I mentioned this yesterday on our show. I don't know if Andre Palat's ever going to have his number in the rafters for this franchise, but obviously he's a big game player. He scored a lot of big goals. Would you say he's probably one of the more, not even just on the Lightning, but in the league in general, one of the more underappreciated, under the radar players of the past decade?
Hello.
Did you hear Nick's question there, Dave? I don't know if you.
No, sorry.
All right, I'll
it all went quiet.
All right, he was asking you a question. I mean, you weren't able to hear it, but I'll rephrase it for you. He basically talking about Andre Palat and the numbers that he's put up, especially in the postseason. He's one of the most underrated players of the last decade here in the NHL.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, 7th round pick, guys. 7th round pick. That's all you need to know. When you are a 7th round pick in the National Hockey League and you have the career that he has had, that's a tremendous accomplishment, and it says a lot about you and your drive and your ambition, your character as a pro in this league. This is the best league in the world, and 7th round picks don't often blossom into a franchise pillar, which is what he is. He has got the most game-winning goals in playoff history for the Lightning. He took over that spot with that dramatic game winner in the final minute the other night. He's a tremendous person on and off the ice, and I think Coop, who often, has a way of putting things that are very succinct and accurate. He said it best the other day when he said, he's often the third player talked about on any line that he plays on.
Yeah.
Yet he's a guy that everybody wants to play with because he does things. He never cheats the game. He never cheats a shift. He plays 200 feet. He plays hard when his offense, guys go through dry spells, and when his offense isn't there, he's doing way too many other things to even be questioned on what's going on with his lack of offense when that happens, because he does all the other little things correctly. This is a guy who will go down as one of the all-time great Lightning players, period.
Yeah.
And that includes, amongst Kucherovs and Stamkos, a first overall pick, Hedman, a first-round pick, Vasi, one of the best of all time. Palat will be a big part of the storyline for this franchise.
Dave Randorf joining us here. Now, you just listened to all the pressers from today. So I'm curious. As we were on, we couldn't listen to them, but was the Academy Award performance of Igor Shesterkin mentioned at all in today's pressers? And will we see a repeat performance, a sequel?
And we talked about this the other day too. It's if you're not cheating, you're not trying. And I'm just wondering. I'm wondering when's the last time an embellishment call was made against the goalie in the playoffs, because he's flirting with it right now.
He's long overdue. Long overdue.
Yeah. So listen, it's part of the gamesmanship. It's a time-honored tradition where, listen, Ben Bishop was not afraid to maybe flop a little bit to here and there. I think Lightning fans might even nod, go, I guess it's right there. And then the coaches, they start the rhetoric and they start the talk with the media and with the supervising officials. They say, "Hey, man, listen, these guys getting too close to our goalie." Right. Everything is magnified in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but at the end of the day, Igor Shesterkin is a good goaltender and he's a difference maker, and you have to respect that. I mean, my goodness, the guy faced over 50 shots in the last game, and the shot totals are going up. So Lightning as this thing goes on, and he's making the saves that he needs to make. So we will see, because the pressure just builds from here.
Dave Randorf joining us here. Dave, I mean, clearly, John Cooper said yesterday it was 8 minutes left in the second of game 2 when his team started to play the way he wants them to play. They clearly tilted the ice in the third period, even after they tied the score. I mean, you could look at the shots, I think it was 19-5, and people would say, well, New York was protecting a lead. Well, no, they weren't. It was tied 2-2 most of that time, and the Lightning were just bringing the pressure. Do you sense that the tide has turned? That now it's, maybe the 7-game series that the Rangers played is coming back to bite them a little bit, while the Lightning, maybe they were rusty early, but now are getting their legs in games 4, 5, 6, and beyond?
I'm not so sure that the Rangers are not unaware that the Lightning have found their game.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't know if they are getting fatigued or tired by the two 7-game series they played, because I just feel that This time of year, adrenaline can take you a long way. This is what you play all year for. So I don't necessarily think that fatigue is setting in with the Rangers, because this has really not been a physical series at all, which is somewhat surprising to me. I would like to see a little bit more physicality from the Lightning in this series. But there's no doubt about it that the Rangers are well aware that the Lightning are coming on now, and that their will is starting to be imposed, that their character and their experience at this time of year is really starting to become a factor. And one thing to watch, if the Lightning are able to stay out of the box a little bit more, their penalty killing has not been bad. It's been good. They're a good penalty killing team, but the Rangers have been dining out on their red hot power play for a couple of series now. And if you can limit their special teams time and force them to play a little bit more 5-on-5, I'm not so sure they can pile up the goals against this Lightning team and against Vasilevsky. So try to, that was a costly 2-minute minor against Kucherov. They do kill it off, but it leads to other things. It just takes gas out of your tank, and it feeds into the confidence of the Rangers. Take that away, limit the stick infractions, and let's see where the chips fall 5-on-5.
Yeah, I really sense that when a penalty is called, it may not be whether you score or not on that. It tends to tilt the ice in the favor of that particular team until the next penalty is called. So these penalties are so huge. Obviously, first 4 goals were power play goals. So how this game is officiated tonight is very, very much important. And before I let you go, Dave, your thoughts on Braden Point? It seemed like there was a sense in New York that he was skating and it might be coming back, and then we don't know any of this, but maybe he had a setback the last couple of days because Coop was very quickly ruled him out for Game 4. Do you have any insight on what's going on with Braden?
No, sorry, I don't. I wish I could share more, but there's we're just watching what everybody else is watching, and there's no insight other than the fact you got to be careful with this. This is obviously an injury that Coop said today is progressing. He's making progress every day, and with each win, he gets a little bit closer to maybe getting back into the lineup. But for right now, I unfortunately got nothing to tell you other than the fact that he will not play tonight.
Definitely. All right, you're playing tonight, right? We got a post-game show. What are you guys doing in Bally's tonight?
We have right after the show, right after the game ends, we have a post-game show that's an extensive, full coverage. You've got Paul Kennedy as our host in studio. You got Dave Vanderchuck and Brian Engblom on the set breaking things down. We got full post-game reaction. I'm at the game myself, but doing one-on-one. So we know your team the best, and as soon as the game ends on ESPN, please flip it over to Bally Sports, and we got you covered.
Well, with all the complaining I'm hearing from Lightning fans watching the game, I know that as soon as it's over, they're not watching that studio show. They're watching you guys. So
I'll be good.
I bet you have monster ratings, as you should. Hey, Dave, thanks for your time. As always, appreciate it. And we'll see you tonight at the arena. Thanks, buddy.
You got it, JP. And yeah, we'll see you later tonight.
Thanks. The great Dave Randorf right there. As we bring Nick Geddes back in here, my friend. I'm sorry he wasn't able to hear your question there, but well done. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't repeat that. I couldn't hear you there for a second. I went out.
I said he couldn't hear your question, but you heard his answers on Andre Palat, your favorite player.
No, he's not my favorite player, but definitely one of the. I always felt like throughout the team history, he is one of those unsung heroes that just kind of slipped through the cracks, kind of like Alex Killorn. Like sometimes I would forget, and this is during my height of my fandom, years ago, I'd be like, man, I forgot we have Alex Killorn. You almost forget about these guys for whatever reason because they're especially Andre Palat, because he's definitely a more quiet guy. Doesn't do a lot of media. He just, as John Cooper said, he just goes out on the ice every night and gives you everything he has. And I told you before, when the triplets were coming up, Andre Palat was the best one at first. He adjusted better to the NHL game, better and faster than Nikita Kucherov and Tyler Johnson both did. So there's a lot of skill there. And he's had a lot of stretches in his career where maybe he wasn't scoring as much as he'd like, but he does so many other things. And good to see a guy like that get rewarded. And like we said yesterday during contract talks, would not be surprised in the slightest to see him take a hometown discount.
I hope he does. I'm sitting here laughing because I'm checking Twitter, see if there's anything going on at the OTAs, and somebody just tweeted out this little video of 2 little kids playing, and the little girl like gets, falls down with hardly any being touched by her little brother. And it's like Igor Shesterkin as a child. Just go check it out. It's hilarious.
I
love it.
I will check that out. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I will be interested to see tonight if his histrionics continue. And if they do, and there's no call, the Amalie Arena is going to go berserk with the refs you suck. Because I can tell you this, the Lightning ain't backing off being in the crease. They're not backing off that way. I mean, they don't need to get any penalties, but they also don't need to give deference because Gerard Gallant is bitching about the Lightning getting in his kitchen, because that's the way it's going to be. They're doing the same thing to Vasilevsky. I mean, come on. And by the way, and Bradley mentioned this yesterday, if you're going to be that aggressive and you come out of the crease, you're fair game. You're not a protected goalie at that point. You want to come 3, 4, 5 feet out of the blue paint. Sorry, pal. You're gonna, and you get hit. That's the way it's going to be. So there's two sides to this.
Yeah, I was going to say because I know we're what we got 7-8 minutes here. I don't think we have to take a break. I don't think we do.
No.
This just came out literally as we were with Dave Randorf. Just saw this now. Tiger Woods not playing in the U.S. Open. He will not be playing.
I was going to start talking some golf here with Dustin Johnson's revelation this morning. He's not playing in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, he said right here that I will not be competing in the U.S. Open as my body needs more time to get stronger for major championship golf. I do hope and plan to be ready in Ireland at the JP Pro-Am and at the Open next month.
This does not surprise me one bit.
No.
After what I saw at the PGA, it's pretty apparent that he can get it together for one round, maybe two, but 4 rounds is just a lot to ask. And he understands that, and nobody understands his body better than he does. So this is not a shock to me. And I also know how bad he wants to play at St. Andrews. I'm trying to remember where's the U.S. Open.
Is it Brookline, right?
Yeah, Brookline. Yeah, and so not a tough course to walk, but always tough conditions. I mean, it's the U.S. Open. It's gonna
yeah, and I think at this point, I mean, St. Andrews, the Open. I think if you ask Tiger, it's probably his favorite place to play.
Right.
I mean, you might as well take 2 months off. I think it would be right, and see what you can do for that one.
So
because I don't think.
Yeah,
and I don't think he wants to go through 4 days of pain again, or 3 days it was at the PGA.
Yeah, he's just not ready. He's just not ready. And what's also interesting is we also learned yesterday that he rejected an offer from the LIV Golf Consortium that was in the high 9 digits.
Yep,
9 digits, according to Greg Norman.
And a lot of rumors flying that it was close to $1 billion.
I mean, how in the world can they afford to pay this kind of money? They just don't.
I have zero clue. I know, I don't really get. I just hear about it. Saudi this, Saudi that, the money, oil. How much money? I just can't get over that. This is freaking golf, for crying out. It's just golf.
Yeah. Well, and now Dustin Johnson, if you haven't heard this morning at the LIV press conference, he has resigned from the PGA Tour.
Yep.
And we still don't know, at least I haven't seen yet, is the USGA going to allow him to play in the US Open next week?
He says he wants to.
Yeah, he wants to. And as far as I know, but the USGA now is going to have to make a decision. He's resigned from the PGA Tour. So, I mean, he still qualifies to play in the U.S. Open, obviously, on his own merits. So that's not an issue. But now the politics becomes an issue because the PGA Tour, as far as I can tell, they reiterated when Dustin said he was going to play, they reiterated their stance on it, basically saying he's going to be kicked off the tour. It didn't say it specifically about him, but they reiterated what their stance is going to be. So I think he probably saw that writing on the wall and got in front of it and said, I'm just resigning. And he's not the only one. There'll be other players to follow. Obviously, Phil Mickelson he's playing. He's announced to be playing. So I as far as I can see, he's not going to be playing on the tour. The PGA Tour, I don't think is going to put up with that. So how many? I know Kevin Na, big deal. I don't think this is going to ruin the PGA Tour. They're staying pretty stout, but at the amount of money that's getting thrown around, first of all, this money, I get it. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable unless, these Saudi princes just want to, give away, $1 billion, $2 billion a year. There's no way they're making this back in television deals or endorsement deals or advertising. There's no way that they can make this work. The PGA Tour has to have, a balanced budget. They have to be able to pay the players and be able to run their tour as well. And it's the big secret is, just like every tournament, like the Valspar, all ticket sales basically go to charity. And, the sponsor, the Valspar, pays the purse and everything else, and the sponsors pay the rest of the money. So the only way to get more money for the players right now is to start taking that ticket sale money and give it to the players and not to the charities. If that's what the PGA Tour has to do to survive, so be it. I mean, clearly they're going to cut, they'll give something to charity, but it's not going to be the millions and millions of dollars that they do every year. That's going to go to the players now. So I just think it's interesting. What does the future hold here? I think the PGA Tour is going to survive, but it's not going to be as good. I mean, let's just be honest. If DJ's not playing and some of the other guys aren't playing, it's not going to be as good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is the first time around, so there's a lot of guys who are probably apprehensive because, one, they have an allegiance to the PGA Tour. They don't want to jeopardize their brand, their image because of what is behind all this. Which I told you, I mean, that's an individual decision. I don't see fans that outraged about it, to be honest. Right. I think that's an individual decision for these players. I told you that these guys are all 40, 50 something, let's be honest, has-beens. And if they're going to get guaranteed money to play 54 holes, not 72, this team format, only 8 events, I mean, yeah, for some of them, it's a no-brainer. For some of them, it's a no-brainer. For Phil Mickelson to get $200 million up front to go join this league, and clearly he's maxed out his time at the PGA Tour. He's done with it. He's already bitter to begin with. I mean, how can you blame Phil Mickelson, I guess? Tiger Woods is a little different. I mean, Tiger Woods would never do – again, Tiger Woods has had enough bad PR in his life to ever go do something like this. He's smart enough to know it, and plus he doesn't need the money. So if they may have offered him $1 billion, the guy's already made more than $1 billion off in endorsements alone in his entire career. So – It doesn't matter. I'm more the whole comments for. Do you see the comments of Greg Norman about Jack Nicklaus? That's the stuff that's more.
No,
I think Greg Norman needs to stop talking as much as he is. He called Jack Nicklaus a hypocrite and said that he's a quote here and then an unquote guy because he's just being a hypocrite apparently about his criticism of LIV because he wanted to be involved. Now he doesn't want to be involved. It's a whole hoopla. But Greg Norman going after Jack Nicklaus.
That's bullshit.
I mean, it's BS. And I think Greg Norman needs to chill out a little bit because I think it's painting it even more in a negative light when he opens his mouth and says these things.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, I mean, he is the sacred cow. You do not touch Jack Nicklaus. And it's going to turn all golf fans off this LIV tour. I think a lot of golf fans are just going to ignore it because they're pissed off because it's clearly a money grab. Now, I agree with you. I'm not mad at these players. I'm mad at the situation. I'm not mad at these players. You can't turn down $125 million, for God's sakes. You just can't. And they just got to find – and he's not going to be able to play in a Ryder Cup. Talking about Dustin Johnson. He's not going to be able to play – he may not be able to play in some majors. We'll find out. The USGA has not shown any indication that it would attempt to bar players who join the LIV tour. So Johnson has 10-year exemption of the Open because of his 2017 victory. So I think he's going to be able to play. It'll be interesting to see what the Masters does because the Masters is all about the historic, is about the game. Should check with our good friend Fred Ridley. I've known him for a long time. My gut feeling says that I would think they're going to side with Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, who refused the money, bump up their purse and say sorry. That's my gut feeling. But won't that be interesting? Won't that be interesting to see what the Masters does? Wow. Especially after, the DJ and Phil. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. All right. Great job, Nick. Our thanks to Dave Randorf, TJ Rives for joining us here today. Thanks to all you guys for listening. We will be back tomorrow. Game 4 tonight, 8:00. I'll be there at Amalie Arena. You guys, I'm sure, will be there as well. Most of you. I can't wait to see you. I hope I'm trying to find the right bumper bed here to say goodbye and close out the show. So have a good day, everybody. Go Rays. If you could afford to go to the game and take out a mortgage, do so. And go Bolts. We'll see you tonight at Amalie Arena.